cleaned it up.
Yep.
So now I've got to take this off, and let's see. No, it's not an 8.
That's probably a 9 then.
Yep. No, it's actually a 10.
Let's make you work for it.
Gotta make sure there's a little groove that this thing goes in, the fat side goes in the plastic piece, slides down over here, that goes on that direction, kind of dirty, and does this come out?
Yes, it does.
And there is the spring.
Looks pretty rusty.
Yeah. So
I'd spray it.
I'm gonna want to clean that up, clean all this stuff out of
Yeah,
here.
I'll spray it. With acetone and oil or whatever it is.
That's,
Probably why it broke, because it's all rusty and stuff.
well, remember it was in the flood, sitting there for a long time. You see
that's what
how
I'm saying.
yucky this rope is.
Yep.
So you can see it winds around this direction.
Your little pliers.
I'm going to go ahead and pull this out. Yeah, you can. It's no wonder it broke. So now, next step, does this come out? Yeah, that pin comes out. So let's pull that out. And we're going to we're going to clean this up. Let's take a look at the spring. Okay, it looks like that piece catches on this.
On this here.
Yeah. And
Winds it up. Yeah, it goes that way.
so now the dangerous part is pulling this spring out and trying to clean this spring, because that's going to be a little bit more of a challenge getting back in. But I think we need to probably clean it to get all this gunk out of here, because all that is going to wear as it bounces around and gets on the new rope.
Yeah.
See, look at all this.
Oh, yeah,
This will
that's
all
from the
get
flood.
Yeah, this is all piled in here from the flood. So I need to get all that out of there. Um, okay, where this piece is fastened around that little plier is directly opposite of the clip. So just have to remember that. We'll get ready to put it back in.
Yeah.
Because we're going to have to take this out.
You're going to have to wind it up before you put it back in.
Yeah.
There's a winder.
I'm gonna have to unwind this and clean it anyway, because I want to get all this rust off of here, but I don't want it to just go flying.
No, I don't want to get hit.
There we go. See all that rust on there and all that?
Yep.
That'll make that work a whole bunch better. Mucho gooder, right? I could just throw it back together, but you know what? I hate taking all this out and not cleaning it.
Properly.
I just want to, yeah. So that if the new rope breaks, well, I know what I got to do to take it out, but I don't want to have to deal with this if I don't have to. So I'll get a brush, clean this out. So you can still see all this sand that's built up from being in the flood.
Come back when you get all clean and show it up.
Yep.
Okay.
All right. Remember how this looked before? I've cleaned it all up, put it in the parts cleaner, and it's pretty clean. I got maybe a few little places here that's not completely clean, but that's a whole lot better than it was before. I got all that gunk off of there. So that's much better than it was before. So we'll continue cleaning them. I'm going to feed this through here. I pulled this through here. Now I'm going to tie a knot on this end, and this will be ready, and I can start wrapping it around and get it in there. So I'll worry about the other end a little bit later. It already has the burnt end on here, but I'm going to make a knot. It don't have to be much because it just barely fits through there. So there's the knot. That just need to fit inside of there. I might take and go ahead and burn the end of that a little bit so it doesn't fray back.
Sounds like
Trim this back a little bit, didn't need a whole lot of it, so I'm just going to burn the ends of it. And then I worry about coming out. That knot ain't coming untied. Fits in there nice. Pull nice tight. Remember that it wrapped around this way, so I'll go ahead and wrap it. Now most of it should fit back in there, but and that's probably about how much I put extra on it, so we'll be good. If you look at this spring, the spring part of this was a little bit rusty, and it's all just about all gone now, so that's good. And that pin I put in there had a little bit, and it's almost gone. Now that's the pin that this piece here rotates on, so I want to make sure there's no rust in there on that. Well, I think we'll go ahead and pause this now, and or stop this now, and we'll come back probably. I think part 2 we're going to show putting it all back together. So I think this will be the end of part 1. Might be part 2. I don't know. I have to decide when I start putting it all together where it breaks. But make sure you watch the whole series to see how it goes back together, and then I started up with the pull starter the first time. So make sure you comment.
Like and subscribe and comment. Yep.
Now here's what it looks like. It was sitting in there for a little while. Looks pretty good. That little chunk on the back there. That doesn't look too bad. I'll dry that out. The spring itself, that looks pretty good. So I'll dry that out, and I'll put a little bit of oil on it. Not real thick hope, but just kind of a light, just to clean it up a little bit. And then we'll start putting it back, the spring back in here like it's supposed to be. And that's going to be the challenge, to get it wound up to get in there. But we'll get it wound and put in there. I have the spring back in here. I tried it a different way. I tried coiling it all up and putting it in there, holding it with the pliers, but then it just kind of kept slipping off. So what I did instead was, I didn't record it, but I hooked this one end of it on here, and I had the whole stuff, and I just fed it around and just kept pushing it down, it's kept feeding around, and all of a sudden now I have it back in there. That's always the challenge, is getting those springs back in there. And then what we got to do is we got to worry about, okay, how are we going to adjust the spring to make sure that it is going to pull the cord back in. So we may have to try that a couple times, and see what it does. So let me go ahead and see if I can get this string put through this hole, because I'm going to have to put that through there. And I don't know if I can do it one-handed here or not. It's coming through. Okay, now I can go ahead and put this in, and I can try it a little bit with it just sitting here, and that's what I'm going to do. So hold on here, let me get the camera set up, and we'll watch what I'm doing. Okay, now I have this in here. We're going to pull all this excess out, and we're going to put this on here and kind of get familiar with how it works. So as you pull it out, it's supposed to wind it. See if it's going to catch. Okay. Wind this a little bit more. That looks pretty good. So I think we'll start putting it back together. This goes on here. And we have that little plastic piece. Okay, after a little bit of looking, we found this piece. Ended up getting out of the bucket into the bottom of there. And looking at it, there's no difference between them. I remember when we took it out, this flat piece went to the top. So we'll put this in here. This plate goes over it. Screw goes back in. Oh, that was actually...
No, that was a 10, remember?
Yeah. Okay.
Ooh, special.
So now what we'll do is we'll do it so that it pulls up against it a little bit of snug on there. Gotta see if we can feed this through here.
Might would have burnt the end.
Well, the end is burnt. This is factory end.
Oh. Ouch.
A bit more of a point on it. I think I'll need a little small. That one will work. It may not work too well that way. I may have to get a...
You get one of the other ones that has a straighter thing and grab it from the other side.
Yeah. I think it's feeding it up in there a little bit.
A little at a time.
Now what I could do is get a smaller string and tie it around it and pull it through. But I don't have any here handy, so...
What's that over there?
But
Fishing
it's
string?
almost, yeah. It's almost through, so I just need to... There we go.
Yeah, I told you.
And now, I don't want it just flopping, so I'm going to have to figure out where I want it there. So now I need to figure out where to tie the knot, because I need to feed it through this other piece now. Yeah. So on these, you just pull it through here and put a knot on it. There we go. So now that is going to go into there. Okay, I need to before I really get too good with the knot, I'll see how well that works.
It's going to stretch a little bit. So
Yeah, so it's a little bit
put the knot
loose
a
to
little
make it.
further down.
Yep.
I'm going to hang on to it for you.
No, I just used the
Okay.
tight. I'm going to come down to about here. I'd rather it be just a little bit tight. Okay. Get our knot inside of there. And then we'll try this again.
A little bit floppy yet.
Yep.
looks pretty good.
Yeah, we'll go with that.
You always tighten it up later if it gets loose.
Yep. So, just a little tighter because the knot will stretch a little bit. There we go. Quite a bit extra. There we go. Oh, I see. As you go, you connect to that pin comes
Yeah.
out,
Just start
and
the engine.
that's what starts it.
Yep.